student and his family are putting a Grand Strand University in the crosshairs of a civil lawsuit.
Our Ali Espinosa joins us in the studio now to offer a full breakdown and also share reactions from those this sad situation has personally affected. Tell us more, Ali.
Eric, Rachel, a newly filed lawsuit claims a professor left this student here behind me alone to suffer a seizure January 13th inside an empty classroom at Coastal Carolina University. I've since spoken to that student's mother, who tells me what she thought was a chance for her son to get a normal college experience has turned out to be anything but.
Okay. I was angry. I was so scared.
Carrie Cairns sharing her reaction to what she claims is a brazen case of negligence at the hands of a high-ranking CCU administrator, Brian Keys. In her lawsuit, Cairns alleges her son Jesh started showing seizure symptoms at the end of one of Keys' classes on the first day of CCU spring semester. Signs she claims Keys failed to detect, instead leaving the classroom with her son still inside.
He was in the room after class seizing for at least a couple hours. I mean, his class was over at 4, and he did not get to the hospital until after 6:15. And so
Cairns tells me Keys should have known better than anyone on campus about her son's history of seizures, given that he's the assistant director of CCU's Coastal Life program for students with intellectual or mental disabilities, which Jesh is a part of.
You know, we were so excited that he was accepted. We were so excited that he was going to get to experience this. And this was something, I mean, from birth that the doctors would have said he could never do this. There's no way.
That vision, however, is now forever tainted for Cairns, who says she still fears what could have happened if a group of fraternity members didn't eventually discover Jesh mid-seizure and call for help.
Because honestly, if no one had come into that room to find him, he could have just been in there seizing, and he could have aspirated on his blood, he could have aspirated on his vomit, he could have choked to death and died in that room alone by himself.
And while Cairns now waits on the civil process to play out against both CCU and the Coastal Life program, she's now offering up some potentially haunting questions to Keys himself.
How are you okay with closing that door and looking back through that window and seeing my son sitting there and walking away? How are you okay with having that piece of paper in your hands, knowing what his needs were, and not following through or executing anything that was said on there? But I will advocate for my son, and I will fight for what.
Some Coastal Life student tutors claim the program staff aren't trained enough to handle situations like the one Jesh went through. I've also emailed Keys and the university for comment on this lawsuit, and the school tells me it does not comment on pending litigation. Live in the studio, Ali Espinosa, WMBF News.